What's going on, guys? Jack here from On the Spot Sports, and I'm along with,
Tyler from On the Spot Sports.
and we're aside Ryan Sartori from the Miscalled Podcast. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, guys. This is an honor. This is my first time on somebody else's podcast.
Really?
So yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. We'll just it'll be smooth. Which will be
We're
fine.
just here with the boys, right?
Yeah, just with the boys.
Sounds good to me.
And so with this podcast, we're gonna be going through our normal thing like football, talk about games that we think are worth covering. Then we're gonna go on to baseball, MLB baseball season, October season, baby.
It's the best time of year for baseball.
Hell yeah! And we'll just do some predictions from the MLB, and so let's get right into this. But first, Ryan, how are you?
You know what? I'm good, man. So I'm kind of piecing some things together. I don't think I've ever met you personally, Jack, but I do follow you on Instagram, and it seems like you go to Elmhurst, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to North Central. So I don't. Is this allowed? Can we cross streams like this?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So you do like running and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah. Graphic design.
Gotcha. Yeah, the graphic design. You guys have you've helped us with a couple of things
Yeah.
for the missed call. I have a question for you because apparently our running team here at North Central is like really good.
Mm.
What separates a team from like being good as like a unit at running versus like bad at running?
Oh, that's a good question. Like obviously, North Central is the best in our conference and one of the best in the nation. Like we're just like in the middle of the conference right now. But what separates you from like a good unit to like a bad unit, I guess you could say, it's probably just the team atmosphere. Like,
Okay.
because like if you have a strong like team atmosphere, you like put all the pieces together and like work hard, and that'll like help you succeed. And then if your team atmosphere is not that great, then it'll show like during like practices. You won't want to practice, you won't want to work out or compete or anything, and then that'll just make you worse and worse each race.
Yeah, what I've noticed like for running is like I've just kind of eavesdropped in on a few different practices because they have like a track inside here at like our recreation center, so they're always in there warming up or doing indoor practice or whatever. And what I've noticed in just like dropping in is there's a lot more technique that goes into running than people realize. Like it's like a primal instinct, like everybody can run.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more technique that goes into it that people don't realize.
Yeah, I think honestly the like most important parts like your mental game has to be strong. Like if you can't run the miles, or you can't what's the word? You can't like your pain tolerance is low. That'll like make you like deep not be that good of a runner. But, like if you have that strong mental game, like you can go anywhere from like to like however you want to be.
Right, yeah, for sure.
That's probably like the biggest part. The others is just the workouts. Just put everything you got into it. Same with races. And then like
Gotcha.
for recovery days, just go easy. Like my easy run pace is probably like 7:45.
For a mile?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
My race pace.
What the hell?
Yeah, and my race pace is like 6 flat.
Jesus
H.
H.
Like a big drop off.
That's insane. So Tyler, do you play sports? You play competitively at any level?
Yeah, so I just graduated from high school. I'm currently a freshman in college right now, and I played tennis all 4 years of high school, and I currently go to the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen.
Okay, I'm familiar.
Trying out for the tennis team there.
There you go. Dude, tennis is tough too.
It is, but I think people don't really underestimate it because there's a lot that goes into it. Like it's not just about hitting the ball. It's all about footwork and definitely a lot of mental toughness and concentration. There's a lot going on there. I think people a lot of times really overlook it as a sport.
I think so too. I mean, so for me, and this, I don't want this to come across as an insult, but like, okay, so table tennis, right? Table tennis in itself is super hard to be good at. You have to get the right spins on the ball and stuff like that. And I don't want to try to compare actual tennis to table tennis, like ping pong, but even that's difficult to do.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, you look at some of these guys who play in like the Olympics, or for example, the speed and just the amount of concentration. It's incredible. I mean, the table looks so much smaller, and then yet these rallies go like for a long time. It's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely something to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I think coming out of high school, like, I don't know that, like you said, like people don't respect certain sports. Like everybody wants to say, like, oh, let's go to the basketball game, the football game, and stuff like that. But people don't understand. Even Jack, for you running, like people don't understand the everything that goes into all of it for you guys. That's cool though.
Yeah, like not a lot of people go to like the meets, like outside of like your family and friend, like your close friends. Like if
Right.
you like have like a meet and like you have it like on like the board in like a dorm room, like no one will show up besides like your family. So like a lot of people overlook that.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like I'm always impressed when I see guys that can go on like 5-mile runs and then come back and be like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
Like if I went on like a mile run, I'd probably be done for the rest of the day.
My race is 5 miles.
That's fuck, man. I'm so fat. That's insane. Good for you. Honestly, good for you. Tyler, how do your knees feel, man? Because tennis is tough on the knees, right?
It definitely is. Yeah, most of the time it's normally my legs and my arms because a lot of times, sometimes I like to blast the ball, try and get a lot of power in it. But yeah, it's definitely tough on my knees and my legs, especially because it's constant moving around, it's constant footwork. So yeah, and especially you don't know how long these matches can go. I've had times where I've been on the court for about 2.5 hours for one match. It can definitely be tiring. I mean, it's right in that time where the temperatures start to get really, really hot. So sometimes it's 85 degrees, and you're just grinding out there for a couple hours. So
yeah,
it's definitely pretty tiring.
I tell you what, if I was out there for 2.5 hours smacking that ball around, I'd be sucking air through a straw.
And also for those people that don't know, I also play baseball and hockey as well. So
yeah, you got some nice lettuce going on up top. I could see hockey.
Yeah.
I could see hockey coming out there for you.
A lot of people say that whenever they're like, they see my hair and my flow, I guess you could call it. They're like, you must play hockey. I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, and the way you pronounce hockey lets everybody know you play hockey too.
Yeah. So Ryan, what do you do?
Well, I talk about athletes. That's what I do best. Yeah. So I have the podcast with my co-host Cub Marcio. We've been doing that for over a year now, which is crazy to think about. So I have the Missed Call podcast. I do the radio here at North Central. It's 89.1 FM. I'm on there from time to time. Coming up soon, I guess, for recreational sports, we're going to be doing flag football. And I guess I'm the quarterback, which is fucking terrifying. I'm not a lefty. Otherwise, you could call me the hefty lefty. The second coming of the hefty lefty, RIP to my boy. But, yeah, I mean, that's the basis of what I do. I'm a big guy. I like PS4 a lot. I play a lot of MLB The Show. It's kind of my biggest hobby.
Yeah, MLB The Show is good. I like it. I like that game.
I love that game. It's literally the only thing that I play.
Yeah. For me, it's just any sports game.
Yeah, I bought Madden the other day, and I'm kind of mad at myself because I feel like I wasted $60 because I'm not going to play it because I have MLB The Show.
2 or 3 times and you're done with it.
That's what happened last year with Madden 19. Like I played it for like a month, and then I was like,
Yeah.
The show in Fortnite sounds better. So
yeah, everyone goes through that phase.
I will say I'm definitely more of a Madden guy, but I was playing a little bit this morning, and man, 4 interceptions was not my day, man. I think people across my neighborhood get to hear my rage this morning after that disaster.
You have some serious rage when you lose.
I do. I don't really want to try to showcase it to a big level there, man. Can we just keep it down a little?
You gonna be a pro gamer?
What's up? What's up,
pro gamer?
Definitely not a pro gamer with that kind of attitude.
Do you guys do the MUT squads where you play like 3 people?
Not really. I mean, I have a few times, but
so me and my buddies, I think it was Madden 18 is when they came out with it, and me and my buddies played it together all the time. And I always ended up being quarterback, like the offensive captain or whatever. And there was a game where I threw 6 interceptions.
That's me whenever I play Tyler.
Or you just throw consistent picks?
Yeah, pretty much. Like every drive I get, it's pretty much a pick.
Well, when you pick,
damn.
when you play as the Patriots every single time, and you throw to either Gronkowski or Edelman every single play, it's kind of easy to pick up on it.
I mean,
damn, he's calling you out.
It's 2 best players.
Hey, distribution, man.
Let's just say I'm not good at it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it is. Ryan, we gotta get you on Madden too. Like, I got a PS4. I'll play you.
Let's go. I'll add you on PS4. That's no problem at all. I'll give you this work too.
Yeah.
It's all about that ground and pound, bro. If you can get the run established, then you're looking good in Madden.
Yeah, my run game isn't that good either.
You just gotta find what works for you, man. Like I really like working off tackle, and so when you do that, and people don't like to get run on, so then they'll overcompensate. They'll bring their safeties down, and then at that point you have the game won because now you can shoot over the top.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Deshaun Watson right now. You see that post-game interview where he was like explaining the nuances of the Carolina Panthers defense and everybody creamed their pants?
Yeah, that was funny.
That's what I feel like right now. I'm Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson?
Yep.
All right. You want to get going to football now? Transition?
Yeah. Whatever you guys want. Let's do it.
All right. We usually pick like 2 or 3 games that we think stuck out to us, and then we just like do like a review of it, of like how the game went and how you think they'll do next week. So
hell yeah. Okay.
So we'll start, and then you can just chime in whenever you want.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna work off of your guys's. I'm not gonna bring up any games just because I feel like that will probably run long for you guys. So you guys just bring up your games, and I'll chime in when I think I have something important to say.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother.
Tyler, you want to go first?
Yeah, we are doing what, week 4?
Yeah.
All right, I got one over here, and me and Jack, okay, Ryan, if you did not watch our episode last week, we have started a thing starting last week where we do bold predictions for whatever, something last week. We pick something just pretty bold that we think is going to happen. It might happen, might not. So I'm going to go with the game that I had the bold prediction for. I said, and don't laugh at me, I said this can go really bad or really good, and it went really bad. I said the Baltimore Ravens would keep the Cleveland Browns to single-digit points.
That didn't play out well for you, pal.
And what happens when I pick that? The Browns put up 40 points. 40 points against the Baltimore Ravens, 40-25. I did not see that coming at all from the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns figured out how to throw the football.
Baker Mayfield actually remembered how to play for once.
Yeah, well, Nick Chubb is looking phenomenal this year too. He's like he looks like he could be your franchise running back.
He got 165 yards in 20 carries. That's pretty good, if you ask me.
I think the
3
scary
touchdowns.
thing about that. I think the scary thing about that is too, with Nick Chubb trying to break out like this, they still got Kareem Hunt suspended for a couple of games, and we know how explosive Kareem Hunt can get from his time with Kansas City. So Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, whenever Kareem Hunt comes back from that suspension, that could be an extremely deadly running back combination.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at it the right way, like Kareem Hunt's obviously a very talented runner, but I believe he's also a very talented receiver out of the backfield too. So you could kind of look at maybe Kareem Hunt being more of a Tariq Cohen type role for the Browns when he comes back, and obviously diversifying what they do on offense, giving it another dimension. If you line up and then obviously Nick Chubb would be like your Jordan, or not your Jordan Montgomery, but your David Montgomery out of the backfield. So, I mean, if you pair that up, it definitely creates problems for defenses for sure.
Yeah, and also not to mention, everyone knows that Baker Mayfield has 2 receivers that are pretty much stars in this game, in Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. Once this Browns offense gets clicking, it's going to be hard. I still don't think they have fully clicked yet based off the performance in their first 3 games, but that was definitely a step in the right direction for them with that 40-25 road win against Baltimore.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's hard to judge a team off the first 2, 3, 4 games of the season, because a lot of times teams are still figuring out who they are, who's getting the ball, what's happening, what plays work for them, and stuff like that. So in a lot of situations like that, the first month of the season is not exactly who a football team is. There are a couple teams, obviously, that are going to show you early, hey, we're either really good or we're a bag of garbage. But for the most part, the median, the average NFL team doesn't really kick it off till about this week 5, week 6. And that's when teams that are going to be good start to be good, and teams that are going to be bad start to be bad, those that are teetering.
Yeah,
so it's feasible that the Browns could piece something together and go on a run here, because the AFC North looks like garbage.
Yeah, I still believe that the Browns could win this division
easily.
Definitely.
Easily. Especially when they go out there and look like that against the Ravens. I mean that helps them a lot. I don't think the Steelers are going to do anything this year, especially no Big Ben. You got Mason Rudolph running the offense. He might do something, but I don't think he's going to do enough to get the Steelers into the playoffs. And then the Bengals are the Bengals. Come on.
Yeah.
The Bengals are the Bengals.
Say anything about the Bengals? You already know it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's usually bad in Cincinnati. And then even when things are good, they get to the playoffs and it's very bad.
Yeah. Baltimore is a really good team at home too, so it's good that the Browns finally got their legs under them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and Baltimore, everything starts with the run game, I think. So if you shut down their run game, similar to the Vikings, look what the Bears did to the Vikings this weekend and Dalvin Cook. If you stop the run game, it's hard for obviously them to get the passing game going, because I don't know that the Ravens have a lot of versatile options on offense. Obviously, they have Hollywood Brown over there, and he's been putting together an all right season. Lamar Jackson, though, he kind of looked like he kind of struggled against the Browns, and I think it's partially because they took the run game away from the Ravens.
Yeah, 100%.
So, damn, that was your bold prediction for the week, is that the Browns would be single digits.
Yeah, I was just not impressed with the way they performed against the Rams, especially with the way their offensive line was just completely shut down. They had Baker Mayfield basically running for his life, and I was really confident that the Ravens' defense would really step up, because I think Baltimore's defense is definitely one of the top 5 or top 10 best defense in the league, and especially after adding Earl Thomas. I said, if that offensive line collapses again, Mayfield is having to roll out and looking for someone, chances are he's going either Beckham or Landry, and who's going to be covering either Beckham or Landry, or who's going to be covering back there? Their big safety signing this offseason, Earl Thomas. It was just I was, believe me, I was going bold. I could be very wrong or it could be extremely right. It was just bad. I did not expect 40 points from that.
Yeah, no, it was an impressive showing from the Browns for sure, man.
Definitely. Now they got that first head-to-head meeting, and they're looking like they could be in control now. I'm still not so sure about who's going to have an advantage at this point, but that first head-to-head win for them is really, really crucial for down the stretch.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, so
what was your bold prediction for this past week, brother?
Mine was for the Patriots and the Bills game. And I said the Patriots were going to shut out the Bills, which
I mean, you weren't far off.
Yeah, I wasn't far off. I was honestly surprised by that, but I just had to go bold. I just said screw it and just said whatever first came into my mind. Because let's be honest, no team's going to challenge the Patriots in that division. There's no team. The Bills are the closest thing, and I don't think the Bills are Patriot caliber. But,
no, they're definitely not Patriot caliber, but I think they might. I think if things shake out the right way for them, they could be a wild card team.
Yeah, that could be an option for them. Overall, Tom Brady did not have that good of a game.
No, he didn't.
He was 18 for 39, the 150 yards, which that honestly was not what I was expecting. I expected this game to be a blowout, or like at least be like higher than like 16-10.
Yeah, 26 total points was not where I thought that game would end up either.
I thought it was gonna be like in the 20s at least.
They played really, really solid all around. They had a chance to take the lead there at the end, but that tip pass in the end zone for an interception, that's what really killed them in the end.
Yeah, for sure. They had a lot of guys rushing too. They had the Bills had Frank Gore, Josh Allen, and Frank Gore
has the biggest balls in the NFL.
For wow, 109 yards. And then the Patriots, Sonny Michael had
Sony Digital.
Sonny Digital. He had 63 yards and 17 carries, which isn't that great, but hey, the run game was pretty good for the Patriots, I think. But yeah.
You mentioned Josh Allen running for the Bills. I'm sure you guys had to have seen that hit. What was your guys' take on that hit to Josh Allen straight in the helmet during that game?
I think it's a situation where, like, get down, dude.
Yeah.
Like, hit the ground.
Yeah, I didn't.
You know, obviously he's a big, strong guy, but like, you got to realize you're the focal point of your franchise. You're the most important player on the team. Get down.
Yeah, just duck. I didn't really see the hit. So was it like head to head, or what was the hit?
I believe it did knock him out of the game.
Wow.
It knocked him out, but he was able to run off the field on his own.
At least that's good for him.
Yeah.
Is he on the injury reserve, or is he still able to play?
I don't know that info off the top of my head. I would assume if he had to leave the game, it was probably with some sort of concussion. So he's probably on the protocol, and I would assume it's probably a game time decision, or maybe they're going to hold him out completely for next week. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. He was put on NFL's concussion protocol. So yeah, it'll probably just be game day decision.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know who the Bills play this week, but I would assume that's probably one missed game for Josh Allen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. They have the Titans in Week 5, and I'm scrolling through the Buffalo Bills, and there's an article that says Bills preparing Matt Barkley to start versus Titans. So it does not look like Josh Allen will be ready to go for this game.
Awesome. I'm so happy that I have the Titans defense in multiple fantasy leagues.
That's good.
That Titans defense is the real deal, man.
It is.
Mike Vrabel is really coaching them up well.
How is your fantasy team doing?
So I have 5 leagues this year, which I'm not proud of because I haven't been able to focus on
Just one?
Yeah. Normally I do 2 as my max, 3 at the absolute most. But I have a $50 league that I'm doing really well in right now. That's that's the league I care about the most because winner I think takes home a couple $100. And the rest of them, because they're all ESPN and they're all on the same app, I really don't know what my record is in each one, but I'm doing okay. I had week 2, I went 5-0. So fantasy's fine.
That's good. I'm usually in 8 or 9 leagues usually, but this year I think I'm only in 2. I'm not gonna spend that much time looking through every team, my whole I'm not gonna go week to week and just because usually I just leave my lineup however it is, and maybe switch out a buy or 2, but I don't want to spend all that time just looking through the fantasy app.
Yeah, it can be difficult. It's definitely time consuming too. So
For sure. Tyler, do you have a game you want to touch on?
I think it's pretty fitting that we'll go to this one next. Is it about time to say that there is a best defense in the NFL? I mean, we were pretty positive that it could be, but I think after this week's performance, the Chicago Bears' 16-6 win over the Minnesota Vikings was a surely dominant defensive performance despite Mitchell Trubisky going down. I think it's about time to say, guys, the Chicago Bears really, really all around have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you say despite Mitchell Trubisky going down, but I think even if Trubisky was in the game, that the defense would have won that game despite Mitch Trubisky. I don't know if that makes sense, but they have to bail him out plenty of times, all the time. But that defense looked phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, no, I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I think it was even going back to last year, both games in particular against the Vikings, that even though Trubisky played, I think the whole time, defense won it all. I mean, that Sunday night game in Chicago, the Bears defense played absolutely phenomenal. Minnesota was down, I believe it was 20-6, 23-6, something like that, with 5 minutes left after Eddie Jackson got that pick 6. And or ended up being 25-20, but those 2 touchdowns were complete garbage time. The Bears, for some reason, I just don't think they really put a lot of pressure on their opponents at the end, especially that Redskins game too. The Redskins were completely able to move the ball, but just this whole game, the Bears were not allowing the Vikings to do anything, and their run defense proved to be extremely dominant yet again because Dalvin Cook was leading the NFL in rushing yards going into this week.
He only got 35 yards.
Yeah, fantastic performance.
It's amazing.
You can't say anything more from this Bears defense.
The Bears only.
I mean, and they were missing one of their big run stoppers too. Akeem Hicks was on the sideline.
Yeah, and they still really performed well.
Oh, they were also missing Roquan Smith, their linebacker, as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an all-out great performance. The guys who needed to step up, stepped up. Roy Robertson-Harris, I'm a big fan of his. Nick Williams looked really, really good this past week. And then Nick Kwiatkowski showing up. He might be the slowest man in the NFL, but he definitely showed up and showed out.
A lot of the players that needed to step up this week really did. I like that a lot. They all stepped up when they needed to be, and Chase Daniel also stepped up for Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. And wasn't it nice to see the ball move down the field efficiently?
Yeah, for sure. I listened to your podcast earlier, and I heard you and Cub talk about quarterback controversy in Chicago. Do you think there's a controversy between Chase Daniel and Mitch Trubisky now?
So in the NFL, unless you're the Patriots, I feel like a championship window is very, very, very small. 2 to 3 years at the absolute most is usually the championship window for a lot of teams. The Bears are in that window right now, and they can't be hindered by a quarterback who's scared to sit in the pocket and throw the ball the right way. If you look at just like I said in my talk about this yesterday, like if you look at the play that Trubisky got injured on, he rolled out to his left for no reason.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, he was getting a little bit of pressure from a cornerback that was coming in, but if he waited just a half second longer, and he had the time to wait a half second longer, he had Anthony Miller open on a route that could have taken him all the way to the end zone. But like his awareness is just zero. It's nothing. You know what I mean? He rolls out and bad things happen. I mean, he's good on the run. He's good on the run. I will say that. But when he rolled out, just I wish he could learn how to throw from the pocket as good as he throws on the run.
yeah, I feel like it's either a hit or miss on every week for Mitch. Like he's absolutely atrocious in the pocket. He's so uncomfortable in the pockets. I even get nervous for him whenever
It's visible.
I see him play. But then
The nervousness is visible.
yeah, for
Sorry,
sure.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. And then Chase Daniel comes in and throws up for 195 yards, 22 for 30, and a touchdown. I wonder how this game would have turned out if Mitch Trubisky stayed in this game and didn't get injured. But I'm really glad that Chase Daniel was able to take like the pressure off like the defense, and he really like you said, he moved the ball down efficiently, and that's all you can ask for a quarterback that comes in, like for an injured quarterback who's a backup.
Totally. I mean, and they were eating clock, and they were really executing their game plan, and that's what needed to happen. Like, I think going into the game, that was what they were looking to do. Like, they wanted to eat clock so that the defense can rest, and then the offense isn't. I don't know where I'm going with this, but but they wanted to get out there and eat clock is essentially what was going on, and they executed, and that was awesome to see them execute a game plan. Trubisky doesn't keep the offense on the field long enough for any satisfaction really. So I don't know. So at the end of the day, do I think that there's going to be a quarterback controversy? No, because the Bears love Mitchell Trubisky so much. They wasted a second overall draft pick on him, so I think that they feel they have to play him, which sucks because if you feel that Chase Daniel gives you a better opportunity to win a football game, then Chase Daniel should play the football game. But I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that they'll give Chase Daniel extra opportunities if Mitch Trubisky is healthy.
Yeah. Is Mitch missing couple weeks, right? Or is he
They say he's day to day. The update that Nagy gave the other day pretty much just said like he obviously he separated his shoulder, dislocated his shoulder. I think that is on his non-throwing arm, so that's fine. He can come back whenever, but they listed him as day to day, and he'll be back sooner rather than later. But Chase is definitely getting the start against Oakland and London.
I can't wait to see how Chase does, because last year he was good in his first start after Trubisky got injured, and then he didn't really perform that well from the games beyond that. But I think that since he had the performance this week, I think he's gonna lead that momentum in this week, I guess you could say, and hopefully the Bears can come out with a win.
I mean, and they should, because the Raiders aren't particularly good.
Yeah.
And so if you guys want my hot take for this week, this is my hot take. I think Khalil Mack scores more points than the Raiders do.
Ooh. I like that prediction.
I love that prediction. I hope it comes true because that means another dub. But
Sure.
that's like if we're going bold. Like if you want me very optimistic, Khalil Mack scores more points than the Raiders.
I like that. I'm gonna keep you accountable for that one.
I expect you to. I hope you do.
Oh, don't worry, I will.
You know Khalil Mack's always ready to hit someone, and this, given that it's his former team, the beast will fully be unleashed this week.
Oh yeah, it's the revenge game. He definitely wants to show John Gruden what he missed.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to see how the Bears defense goes toe-to-toe with this Raiders offense. I think this Raiders offense will be packing their bags and already be on the flight back to Oakland before the game's over here in London. So
that's fair. I think that's factual.
All right, Tyler. Anything else? Any other games?
Trying to see. I don't know if I have any other games from this week that I want to touch upon. So I think though I'm looking at a bold prediction here.
Well, let's hear it.
For this upcoming week, and I think the first one that will hit me for this upcoming week is. I'm going with the team that you picked last week for your bold prediction, Jack, the New England Patriots. And, yes, they are facing the Washington Redskins in Week 5. I'm going with the Patriots win by 40-plus points over the Washington Redskins.
Well, that's very bold.
That's a lot of points.
Especially since I'm not 100% sure if Dwayne Haskins is going to be starting for the Redskins since Case Keenum got taken out. I don't even care who it is. I think it'll be worse with Haskins, but I feel like this Patriots team, with the joke of how the Redskins have been playing this year, this is just another feast.
I think it would be awful if the Redskins started Dwayne Haskins for this game. Like his first NFL start is against one of the best defenses in football, against Bill Belichick, who definitely knows how to exploit a guy like Dwayne Haskins, being that he is so new in the NFL. I think it would be absolutely evil to put Dwayne Haskins out there to start. Because you have like you said, you have a healthy Case Keenum on the bench.
I'd be scared if I was him, if I was put in against the Patriots or any like top defensive team.
Yeah, I mean, as a rookie, like the last thing you want to do is fuck up because you're under the microscope, especially being the first round pick. So, like, if you go out there and screw up against the Patriots, like the average fan doesn't realize how good the Patriots defense is, so they're going to roast him. They're going to like burn him alive, pretty much, if they trot him out there and he fucks up.
And you mentioned that. I think he already messed up last week because when he replaced Case Keenum against the Giants, he threw a touchdown all right, but to the opposite team. You know, that first against that Giants defense. And I wouldn't think the Giants defense is anything to be, you know, particularly happy about. I think the Giants are in a solid spot right now, especially on the offense with Daniel Jones. But I don't think the defense is particularly, like, you know, amazing. So for that to be your first touchdown, a pick six against a very average, mediocre defense, you got to be disappointed in that. And
to Jabril Peppers of all people too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from Ohio State, Michigan. Very coincidental.
I wasn't even thinking on that level, but there you go. Look at you getting all symbolic and shit.
You know, I will quote Dwayne Haskins himself too. You know, he did say after he fell a couple spots there in the draft, number 15, he did say the league done messed up. It sure looks that way when your first touchdown is a pick six.
It just makes it look like the Redskins messed up, huh?
Definitely. I don't think the league done messed up. I think you're messed up. I don't think you're going to turn out to be great at recruiting out there.
That's perfect. I don't think the league done messed up. I think you done messed up.
I definitely think he done messed up.
That's hilarious.
You done messed up, so your ass gets back on the bench then, man.
I'll tell you guys what. I'm not excited to wake up at like 9 a.m. to watch the Bears.
Yeah, that's
That sucks.
gonna be rough.
I'm almost positive that game is at noon. It's noon here, and it's a night game in London.
Is it?
It does say 12 o'clock.
I mean, that'd be perfect if that's the case because it's nice when it's not your team. Like the 9 a.m. game is in London is nice when it's not your team because like normally that's when you're waking up, you're making the coffee, you're whatever, and like you flip the TV on and there's football, and then there's football all the way until night. But if it's the 12 o'clock game, that's even better
It's
because it's my team playing. You know. I don't want to get up early to watch that game. I'd rather like in years past when they have it on at 9, like you catch it at like the middle of the second quarter and you're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
And you just roll along with the rest of the day.
12 o'clock gives you more time to sleep in.
Facts, fat ass facts.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out my bold prediction right now. There's a lot of bold predictions I could make right now. So I'm gonna go with the Browns upset the 49ers by 15 points. At least 15 points.
Okay, so do you think that would be an upset?
Yeah.
Because I don't know that the 49ers are a true unbeaten team. Like, yeah, they have, like, yes, they're 3-0. Obviously, like, they're unbeaten, but I think they're pretenders.
Yeah, I guess I can see that, yeah. But they are undefeated, but so I'm gonna go with the Browns upsetting the 3-0 49ers by at least 15 points.
That's fair. I like that. Keep rolling with the Browns.
Yeah, and
Baker Mayfield and the boys.
Baker Mayfield and the boys. In our recent episodes, I always talk about the Browns. I have so much hope for the Browns.
This guy is always Mr. I'm so excited to see the Browns play. I can't wait to see what the Browns are going to do. It's fitting that you finally get I got a bold prediction about the Browns before you. That's kind of interesting there.
Yeah.
Over on the missed call, we're pro Browns, so I'd like to see them do. I'd like to see them do well. Yeah, pro Browns and pro Mavericks.
Don't you guys have a buddy that plays for the Browns?
No. Mike Kwan got cut in preseason. Yeah. Dang. It sucked. We were pretty pumped for it, and then I was watching a preseason game with the Browns, and I was like, what number is Mike Kwan Dean? And then I looked it up, and they said like the day before the game he got cut. And I was very sad. I was big sad.
Damn. That would have been sweet to have him on the Browns.
Yeah, and have somebody like to cheer for, like if he ever got in the game.
Yeah. I mean,
that's kind of how we are.
You guys have Justin Jackson to cheer for. So.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. I was like, we do have Justin Jackson to cheer for, but now with Melvin Gordon coming back, it's going to be hard to find touches for him, you know?
Yeah. At least he got some touches, though.
Exactly. It was cool to like watch him on TV, like say like, hey, I guess that we had on our show is like you can actually watch him play sports on TV.
Yeah.
Even with Melvin Gordon out though, Austin Eckler's been having a great season though for the Chargers. So even with Austin Eckler's definitely been just as explosive as Melvin Gordon has been in the past.
I still think like even with Gordon coming back, like he's still not getting a contract from the Chargers. He's going to have to go somewhere else to get money because the Chargers aren't going to pay him what he wants, and especially after they saw what Austin Eckler can do for them. For cheaper.
What team do you think he would go to?
Oh, man. Who needs a running back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the Texans always need a running back.
That is true.
They've got Lamar Miller down there right now. I don't know how much I believe in Lamar Miller.
I believe tore his ACL. Did he?
Did he?
I think so. I think Lamar Miller tore his ACL, and
Or is it Carlos Hyde now? Is it Carlos Hyde that's down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Like, they always need a running back. If the Dolphins want to start trying to rebuild, I mean, the Dolphins could use them. And they obviously have the cap space to go out and do something like
The Dolphins
that.
could use anyone.
Literally, they could use me and you and
Honestly.
Tyler. And Tyler can play safety since they are trying to trade, or after they traded Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'll go out there for Minka Fitzpatrick if that's cool.
No, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Go ahead and head out there, and you'll play over the top. And I guess I don't know. I'll play fullback or something.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I was just talking about this with Jack on our previous episode. This is through week 2. I know we're in like week 4, week 5 now, but through week 2, you guys have heard of former NFL player Antonio Cromartie, correct?
Yeah.
I did see a very funny meme regarding Antonio Cromartie and the Dolphins. So Antonio Cromartie, through week 2, has more kids than the Dolphins had points through 2 weeks. Antonio Cromartie has 14 kids. The Miami Dolphins had 10 points through week 2.
Damn, Philip Rivers almost outscores them too.
Yeah, Philip Rivers, he just had another one. He might say, hey, honey, we can outscore the Dolphins with one more. You want to try it?
Philip Rivers loves to fuck in the name of God.
That is... Low-key, that's true.
I mean, like, isn't he like a big Jesus guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, imagine being Philip Rivers and your wife's like, "No, I think I'm done having kids. Like, I've already popped out 9 of them." And he's like, "Well, what about God?
Yeah,
What about God?" And then she's like, "Well, fuck."
That's funny.
That is true.
I think Cromartie got like a vasectomy and he still had a kid.
Oh.
I mean, he took all the necessary precautions and he's still getting fucked.
Oh.
Literally and figuratively. So,
guys, I'm seeing what is really mind-blowing to me is that one of these winless teams is going to get a win because this week the Arizona Cardinals are traveling to play the Cincinnati Bengals. And this week, even though the Miami Dolphins are on a bye week, next week the Dolphins play the Redskins. So, guys, what we're going to see one of these teams win a game. Who's going to win? Who's going to win?
I think it's – you said Cardinals and who? Bengals?
Cardinals and Bengals this week.
I'd like to say the Cardinals because I have belief in Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Cardinals too.
Yeah, it's gonna be Cincinnati is the home team. I don't know. I'm honestly gonna go with the Cardinals too on this one.
I honestly don't see anything in the Bengals beating the Cardinals. I don't have anything that says that they're gonna do really good.
I just want to see the Bengals lose because they're stupid ass helmets.
Those are
their helmets were cool when I was 12, but now looking at it, I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? I get it, but also can't we do something different?
Change it up a bit.
Right.
What do you think of the Bears helmets this week?
It reminded me too much of Michigan for me to like it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
And their socks were fucking stupid.
Yeah, I did not like. I mean, I did like the helmet a little bit, but the socks, just we're nah, that ain't it, Chief.
Exactly. I think they nailed the jersey though. The jersey was dope. The pants were dope. If they could switch up the socks, and I guess the helmet would be fine if they switched the socks. I guess I couldn't nitpick that much, but the socks were just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I hated every second of the socks.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any other games you guys want to cover before we transition to MLB?
No, this is where I really excel. We
I
talk
think,
about baseball for 3 hours.
yeah, same. All right. So let's transition over to MLB. All right, it's October, best time of the year for baseball. We just got done with the wild card games: Brewers, Nationals, A's, Athletics, or A's and Rays. A's and Athletics are the same thing. A's and the Rays. The Nationals went on to beat the Brewers, which I was surprised about. I was honestly hoping. I was honestly cheering for the Brewers, even though the Cubs are in the same division. But
Are you a Sox fan?
I am.
Okay. All right. Then you have permission to root for the Brewers, I suppose.
Yeah, the Brewers. I honestly felt had like the better team, especially since the Nationals lost Bryce Harper. I just didn't see it, but I guess the Nationals prevailed past the Brewers, which
You know what?
I did not see happening.
You know what? You bring up the Nationals losing Bryce Harper. I honestly feel like that really benefited the Nationals because I feel like Bryce Harper's a good player, but I don't think he's really like everyone says. Like I feel like Bryce Harper's definitely an overrated player, and even like you see him leaving this year. Anthony Rendon stepped up and was a big time player for them. Even Juan Soto, that hit he had, Juan Soto was really good this year as well. Trey Turner as well. Nationals have had people step up this year, and I honestly feel like they are better without Bryce Harper. Now it's Philadelphia's problem because I think Bryce Harper definitely has a bit of an attitude problem, but I just don't think he's everything that people like really say he is. But the Nationals, though, I can't believe they won that game. Because with that hit, I feel like you have a tie game at best, but that error completely put the third run on the board. And I got to say, if Christian Yelich was playing right field, there would have never been that error.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, all right. If we're gonna do the whole Bryce Harper debate, I definitely feel like what makes Bryce Harper overrated is the money that he's paid, right? Like it's the only person in the MLB that should feasibly make the money that Bryce Harper makes is Mike Trout. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Mike Trout's a goat.
Mike Trout might be the best baseball player we have ever seen, we ever will see. Mike Trout is absolutely phenomenal. But this is about Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, he's a great ball player. He does a lot. He does a lot of things really well. Maybe he's a little bit streaky at times, but he could definitely. He's a superstar player. He's a guy that can carry your offense, this, that, and the third. But nobody should be paid over $300 million.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous for one guy to eat up like 60% of your total cap is insane. But if we're looking at the Nationals, I picked the Nationals to win not only because fuck the Brewers, but also because I think the Nationals are better. The Anthony Rendon thing, I've been on Anthony Rendon for the past 2 years because I think he's the most underrated player in baseball. A guy who consistently will slug. He has the most doubles in the league since 2015. He's just a consistently good ball player. Pretty solid on the hot corner as well. When it came down to it and they put Hader on the mound, I thought the game was over. I definitely thought it was over, but then he came in and he couldn't find his fastball. As a Cub fan, I've seen Hader a lot, so sometimes the first batter he does struggle to find the zone with the fastball, but he inevitably finds it, right? The big difference this time is that he couldn't find it. He didn't find it. He couldn't find the zone, and then his slider. If you guys go back and watch the entire outing, that 38 pitches, I think he threw a slider and changeup like maybe 10 pitches. I think he threw it 10 times. And it's because he had nothing on it. Like every time he threw that slider, it just stayed out. It never came back across the plate. And so now you got hitters sitting dead red on a fastball. Every big league ball player can hit a fastball. Obviously, that hit by pitch with Victor Robles, that's questionable. maybe he did hit the bat first. Maybe he hit his wrist first. Who knows? Um, Zimmerman muscled that ball out in the center field. That was awesome to see him do that. And then Rendon gets plunked. Or did he walk? Rendon got plunked.
Did not intentionally walk him.
Yeah, I think it was a walk.
And then Juan Soto, like lefty. Like I said, I watch Hader a lot because he's in the same division as the Cubs. He'll give up power to lefties here and there. Some of the best power hitters in baseball have hit home runs off of him. Freddie Freeman, Anthony Rizzo. So just big-time left-handed hitters have hit home runs off of him, but very, very rarely does Josh Hader give up contact to left-handed hitters. So when it came down to Juan Soto, I said, okay, this is either going to be a home run or it's going to be a strikeout. And then Juan Soto does pretty much the unthinkable and just serves the ball in the right field, and then Trent Grisham shit his pants. To be fair, I think that ball had some nasty spin on it, which is what led to him missing the ball. But it just sucks to see that happen if you're part of the Brewers organization or the Brewers fan base, to just see a win like literally trickle past somebody's leg.
Yeah, it's just yeah, exactly.
And it sucks for the Brewers too because Max Scherzer did not have a great start.
Yeah, he didn't.
I mean, you get after it like one of the best pitchers in baseball. You put up three on him in the first 2 innings, and you expect, okay, this is like a really good start for us. This should be good because the Nationals bullpen isn't awesome. Then they turn it over to Steven Strasburg, and Steven Strasburg came in and gave up just 2 hits, no earned runs, and really kind of locked the Nationals back into that game. But that's playoff baseball, right?
Yeah.
That's how things work. Crazy shit happens.
Expect
more so than any other time of the year. Yeah, honestly expect the unexpected. And that's playoff baseball.
It is. And so the A's played the Rays. What do you guys think of that game? For the second wild card game?
Basically the Rays, same thing basically what happened with Milwaukee. Milwaukee had those couple home runs that put them up like 3-0 first 2 innings, and Milwaukee choked it away in the end. Not the Rays. The Rays had complete control of this game, and they even added a couple more on after that. I think the final was 5-1.
Yep.
The Rays completely controlled that game from the start. The A's had nothing for the Rays in this game, and I said from the beginning that if Charlie Morton or Blake Snell starts on the mound, it would be trouble for the A's. And sure enough, Charlie Morton lines up, and he put on a pretty good performance, I'd say. I wouldn't really blame the run on him. It was more so a bad throw, and then a nice hit to right field for the run. But overall, Charlie Morton pitched really, really solid. And it was enough, and I think the Rays had a really good game plan overall, and they really silenced that loud home crowd last night. I'll be anxious to see what Tampa Bay has for the Astros.
Yeah, for me, I was cheering for the A's because like my friend Tyler, he's an A's fan. He's like saying like all this good stuff about the A's. So I was like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna go for the A's. But like I expected. I didn't expect it to be a 5-1. I expected it to be like a little closer, maybe like 4-2, 3-2, something like that. But shit happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had the A's rather in this game too. God, I mean, why did they have to put 2 teams flying? Yeah. I had the A's in this one as well. It's just something about the A's, man. Like they always seem to piece some shit together. If you guys have listened to my podcast in the past, you know that I'm a big. I think the first no-hitter of every season is always some random dude from the A's. And really sit down and think about it. It's always some random dude from the A's. So I was betting on them just because. I guess for that reason in general, it's just like, I don't know. I have kind of a funny thing that I say about the A's, so they should win the game. But I mean, in a more analytical look at it, if you look the Rays, Tampa Bay, their pitching has just been phenomenal this year. Top to bottom has been awesome. The Charlie Morton deal has really looked. I mean, it's looked really, really good for them. Obviously, he has one of the best curveballs in baseball. I don't think they said it enough on the broadcast last night. Blake Snell's awesome. And then the bullpen, like they just pieced their bullpen together with, I mean, advanced analytics and really just great scouting. I mean, look at and that's like the MO for both of those teams. The A's and the Rays are both very small market teams, and so they have to piece their stuff together with really good scouting and really good analytics. If you look at the Rays bullpen, there was a lot of guys that played for Oakland last year in that bullpen. Emilio Pagan is their closer. Emilio Pagan played for the A's last year, so it's great pitching, and I think that's why this coming up series with the Astros is going to be a lot of fun because it's two really good pitching staffs. Obviously, you know, the Astros might have better like guys. They have all-star type guys, but the Rays have guys that they've coached up and are really good analytically and stuff like that, and know the pitch tunneling and know the arm angles and stuff like that to get guys out. So it'll be interesting to see how the division series shakes out between Tampa and Houston.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that Rays Astros series, especially since the Astros got a lot of like all stars. Like they got an MVP candidate, Alex Bregman, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for both of these teams, and it'll be interesting to see who will come on top. I think it's gonna take 6 games to decide a winner.
In the DS?
Oh, and the fuck. I always.
It's all good. Literally, Cub did the same thing yesterday too. I sometimes forget that the DS is 5 games because it's something unique to baseball.
Yeah, because it goes 5 and then 7, right?
Yeah, 5, 7, 7.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go 5 then.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely going to be hard to take. I mean, it'll be hard to take even one away from the top 3 with Houston, with Verlander, Cole, and Greinke. But where you can do damage is in that game 4, game 5, if it gets that far, you know.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna come up on top in that series?
In that series, I mean, I think inevitably it's the Astros just because offensively they have, I mean, just some crazy performers. Obviously, you have, like you said, Alex Bregman, who's just been on fire this year. Jordan Alvarez, who, again, is another guy that, like, they just keep churning out players. Like, I don't know how they do it. Again, the Astros are another phenomenal organization that really use advanced analytics to scout their players and improve their players and so on and so forth. So Jordan Alvarez has been really good. George Springer, when he's healthy, is awesome. Altuve, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I think you're foolish to choose anybody but the Astros in that series. Anybody but the Astros in that series because they're just talent-wise, they're just so much better.
Yeah, and they have a killer offense too, and their defense is solid too.
Yeah. Like I said, the advanced analytics, they pick the guys that are going to do everything right, not just on offense, not just on defense, but both, you know, on the base paths, all of it. They pick a lot of really good 5-tool guys.
Yeah, and they've made runs in the past few years. They even won the World Series.
Yeah.
2 years ago?
2 years ago, yep. It was Astros and then Red Sox.
Yeah, and ever since then, they've been going for runs.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just something that's been brewing for a while over in Houston. Like they've had a good team together, a good front office together to piece a lot of this stuff together. And now that the fruits of their labor are ripe and showing and on display for everybody to see.
I guess you could say that for the same about the Cubs too. Like when they won the World Series, because they went on runs, and then they won the World Series, and then even though they're not in the playoffs this year, they still made runs. Like, after they won the World Series, but obviously they didn't get as far as we all wanted them to. But
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at like even like obviously the Astros, if you look at the Dodgers too, like the Cubs had a great run for 4 years. They went to the NLCS 3 straight years, playoffs for 4 straight years. You guys have heard the narrative before.
yeah,
But if you look at, it just feels like the Astros and the Dodgers have a more consistent reign over their respective leagues, right? Like it just seems like they're set up for success longer. They have the talent there longer. They're not going to teeter back and forth. Like the Cubs, I love the Cubs to death. I never quit on that team. I say frequently, I'm never leaving. Like I am the diehard Cub fan. But it's just like the Cubs have these moments where you're like, this is it's supposed to be a playoff team. You know, like in 2016, it wasn't that way.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, it wasn't that way. But since 2016, it's kind of been like, where this doesn't feel consistent. Like this doesn't feel like an unstoppable force. Where like the Astros, you watch them play, they're
power go.
Right. Well, I mean, they have the power, but it's not consistent power. This year, the Cubs scored 33% of their runs scored in 23 games.
Wow.
That alone shows you inconsistencies.
You're not going to go far if you're inconsistent.
Correct. 100%.
Where these teams are very consistent, like the Astros, Dodgers, Cardinals, Nationals, they've all been consistent. Twins, Yankees, you could go on and on. They've all been really consistent, which is why they're in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you exclude the Dodgers and the Astros from this conversation, like a lot of the teams in the playoffs right now are small market. And in today's MLB, when you're handing out these monster contracts to Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, etc., like you have to be good at scouting. You have to be in there with the analytics and really be cognizant of the players you're bringing in and how you're bringing them up and stuff like that. And it shows you the trend in baseball and what you have to do to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. Is there another series that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to watching the Braves bash the Cardinals' brains in.
Yeah,
Because I need that to happen. It'd be the perfect closure to the season that was 2019. I mean, as a Cubs fan, I am required to hate the Cardinals. They don't live rent free in my head, but for that series, I will be definitely rooting for the Braves with a lot of vigor.
yeah. I think the Braves are gonna win that series too. I went to a Cubs game earlier in the year, and they played the Braves, and you could tell that the Braves were a really good team, and they're gonna. I think they're gonna go far in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's another team that has done. That's another team that's done really well for themselves, and bringing up talent and stuff like that. Obviously, Albies and Acuna and Max Fried, they just have a lot of good arms and good bats that they brought up. And then I'm also rooting for the Braves too. There's a guy, one of the starting pitchers for the Braves, Mike Foltynewicz, graduated from my high school over there in Minooka. Graduated from that high school. So I'm rooting for Folty.
Yeah, you should get him on the podcast.
Man, I'm fucking working on it, man. It's tough. It's tough.
It is.
I'm sure you guys know. I don't know if you guys do interview formats or what your guys' your podcast looks like.
We've done one professional athlete so far.
Okay, who'd you guys have on?
We had Jamie Phillips. He plays in Europe for hockey.
Oh, that's really cool.
But he played in the AHL, which is the league above or under the NHL. So
yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. Especially you being able to play hockey and stuff like that, and you obviously know the sport. Yeah. Cub and I, if you've listened to any of our shows, you know that we're not big hockey guys, and that's kind of one of our flaws that we plan on working on this year and just watching a little bit more hockey. But it's tough to get a hold of people, man, especially when you don't have like an agent that's that you're working with to help land talent and get it on the show. Like if you're at Barstool or anything like that, and you have an agent that's constantly working and saying, hey, how can we get this guy on? How can we get this guy on? XYZ and LMNOP. That's a little bit easier. But we're hitting people up through their DMs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how many hundred people hit up, pick an athlete? How many hundred people hit their DMs every single day?
Hundreds.
How often? Yeah, exactly. How often do they check those DMs? Very rarely. So it's tough. So when we land a guy like Justin Jackson, when we land a guy we had thought we landed Trent Richardson, but he actually ended up ghosting us. It was the biggest letdown ever. But when you get guys like that to interact with you, it's a huge deal. So we're definitely working on Fultonevich. I want to use that inside edge of being like, hey, I went to Manuka too. You should come on my podcast. But he's in the playoffs right now. In this offseason, this winter, we're definitely going to really try to hammer down on some big time MLB talent.
And it's not like you just do the interview and you're done. Like I still talk to like Jamie Phillips and I'm sure you guys talk to like all the people you interviewed still.
Yeah, I mean the guys that want to talk to us, we definitely have a relationship with.
Yeah.
We want to have a relationship with because that's how you make connections. One of our biggest guests to us, Tyler Witt, who plays offensive tackle for Western Kentucky University. I mean, he's been one of the best friends of the shows. He's constantly throwing guest ideas our way and stuff like that. And we've had a lot of his suggestions on the podcast. We had I think he's the athletic director or the head trainer at a big university in Georgia. His name was Don Day, and he worked with Joel E.A. Buniwe, who plays for the Bears.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we're working on getting Joel on, stuff like that, man. It's tough to get guests on.
It is, but when you do, it's a lot of fun.
It's a huge payoff, and I gotta give Cub a shout out right here, man, because Cub does a lot of that work in getting guys on the podcast.
Yeah, he's been giving me tips to do it too.
Yeah, and I'm sure
appreciate you, Cub.
Shout out to Cub, right?
Shout out to Cub.
I'm sure you know just from working with him this past summer, he's very persistent.
Yeah,
and that's where he gets people. They're like, okay, if I do your podcast, will you fucking stop?
Yeah. He's also a lot of fun to be around. So it's like it's contagious.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, great energy guy. So I guess my last question for you is like, looking at the rest of the playoffs, who's your lock? Who's your lock to win the World Series? If you had to be put on the spot, and Tyler, this goes for you too.
I'm gonna have to go with the Astros. I really like what they've been doing this year. They got like we said, Bregman, Altuve, all the other guys. They have tons of offense, great defense. They're all around like complete. Like I don't see a team being that challenge, or I shouldn't say that challenging because every team in the playoffs is challenging. But like I think they'll like they could dig deep and win the World Series again.
Yeah, I think they could do it too.
I think I was at the end. I was really trying to pay attention for who would have the best possible advantage to get home field. And honestly, I really did think it was either the Dodgers or the Yankees. So when I heard the Astros clinch it, I was like, that's tough because I was really, really sleeping on the Astros. I really thought they were going to pull it off. I think they definitely still can with that best record. But I feel like there's just something about having the best record sometimes isn't all you need in the playoffs. Like you said, expect the unexpected. Anything can happen. And I just think this year, the Astros, with that best record, will make it to the World Series, but they will not win it. And I know we were just talking about them a little bit earlier. I'm going big or going it's go big or go home for me on this one. I'm going to take the Braves to win the World Series against the Astros.
The Braves?
The Braves.
I don't dislike that choice. Because I think if I think of anybody left in the National League playoffs, I think the team that'll give the Dodgers the most grief is the Braves. And again, it's because of pitching.
Yeah, everything you were talking about with the Braves, I really like their young team that they put together. They're mostly on the quiet side, though. You know, you mostly hear people talking about the Astros with all the superstars you're just talking about there. Obviously, the Yankees, you know, the New York buzz, the Dodgers with the different LA buzz, which I hope they choke it away this year again. I think that'll be fantastic. But I think a team that a lot of people really overlook is the Atlanta Braves. I think with that young combo that you were talking about of Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies is really becoming a great duo in baseball. And also, I really like Josh Donaldson on the Braves. I think adding him as a veteran third baseman, he's been in the playoffs before, and I think, and he's also had a really great season. I think that Atlanta, they're going to get some fire under them, and I'm calling. Like I said, it's go big or go home for me. I think the Braves are going to step up in the playoffs and take down the Astros in the World Series. I think it'll be 6 or 7 games, but I got a weird feeling about the Braves this year. Expect the unexpected, like you said, Jack.
I do like that. I do like that pick. I could see every reason why you chose that team. They do have. I do like how young their team is and how they've been looking recently. But like, I'm still gonna keep up with my Astros.
So I'll say this, and then unfortunately I got to get going because I got class here in a few minutes.
Yeah,
but I think the team to look out for in the playoffs is the Minnesota Twins, and I say that because while you cannot always rely on offense in the playoffs, they have a really solid offense up and down the lineup. There's not many guys you can pitch around, or rather pitch to. You know, I think they're definitely going to take the Yankees out in the first round, and that would lead, at least in my prediction, it would lead to a Minnesota-Houston ALCS, which would be very interesting because it gets cold in Minnesota in October.
It does get cold, that's for sure.
So it would be interesting to see, I guess, how certain things would shake out there. I think they do have some pretty decent pitching. I really like Jose Barrios, however you want to say his name. And I just think it would be an interesting matchup, to say the least, for the Astros. And also, like, I like when new teams get deeper in the playoffs, right? So like when the Twins, if the Twins were to make it deep into the playoffs, like, I like when that kind of stuff happens in any sport. If in basketball, like when the Bucks got so far into the playoffs, I thought that was cool because it breathes new life into sports and storylines and stuff like that, and it allows us to make new heroes and new villains, and that's what sports are all about at the end of the day. So that my pick for the World Series would be the Astros against the Dodgers, and the Astros probably win that game in 5 or 6 games. Or they win that series in about 5 or 6 games, and that would be my pick. But also at the same time, like I said, look out for Minnesota Twins.
Yeah. The Twins are a good team, and especially since they haven't been in the playoffs like a lot in the recent years, I do like new teams coming in the playoffs. It's always fun to watch the new teams compete and like how far they could go.
Yeah, and then I mean that's how the MLB likes to breed their new superstars too. Like, they do an awful job of marketing their players, but when it comes to the postseason, they really like to have people remember what certain players did in the postseason.
Yeah, and then the Twins will hopefully gain that momentum in the next season, and then maybe even make a farther run than they are going to this year.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's another small market team, so budget will probably restrict them a little bit in the offseason. I know Nelson Cruz will be a free agent. I think Jonathan Scope will be a free agent, and those are 2 big boppers in the middle of their lineup throughout the year that have been there. But it'll be interesting. This is definitely a really good year for the Twins. They surprised a lot of people with how good they performed. But again, advanced analytics and good scouting is what gets a lot of teams to the playoffs nowadays.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. Is there any final thoughts you guys have to say? Because I know you got to get going soon.
Yeah, no, I do have to get going. I was going to let Tyler say anything if he had anything else he wanted to add.
No, I don't really have anything. I think it's really awesome though having other people who do these similar podcasts like we do. Like we're all kind of in the same boat with just talking about sports. So I really like Ryan for you to come on here again. It was really, really awesome hearing your thoughts and your opinions on all the different stuff that's going on right now in sports. And it's just, like I said, really awesome to hear different opinions and, really get to meet new people and, see, what they're going up to with their stuff going on right now. But it's really awesome having you on. Thanks for coming and really, really wish you can come back on for a future episode.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime you guys ever need me, man, it's an honor that you guys even wanted me to hear my opinions here on this podcast. So that's huge. And this is kind of something Cub and I covered in our latest episode of the Missed Call. Is I feel like recently there's been a lot of newer podcasts popping up. I don't know how far you guys are along in your journey, how many episodes in you guys are.
This will be our 11th episode.
See, so you guys are at 11. We have another friend.
I know Woj is.
Yeah. You know Woj. Woj is like you said, 7 episodes in. So we feel like there's kind of a somewhat of a community starting to build around, at least in our realm, if you will, of different podcasts and that are popping up and stuff like that. So it is really important that we all kind of embrace each other. Work with each other and do this kind of stuff because this is how we grow.
100%.
One of our slogans at the Missed Call is spread the bread and love the love. So I think this is what we're doing, right? We're spreading the bread today, huh?
We are.
All right, boys. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me on. And if you guys don't mind, I will plug my podcast real quick. Check me out. Check my co-host Cub Marcio out on the Missed Call. We do sports news updates at the beginning of each week, and we like to do interviews at the end of each week as well. Sometimes things get a little rocky, so we try our best. And follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Sauce Sartori. So that's what I got.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ryan. And we'll see you guys later. So see you guys.